Hey ladies and gents, what up? As you know, I am currently in the process of moving to Singapore, but don't worry, I prepared all this video content in advance so that you guys still have something to watch while I'm away. Now, many people have asked me about my Freyna bossing build. Okay, fair enough. Let me show you how it works. Now, this is one that I've designed with pretty much everything in mind. I don't want to be like those liars out there that say, oh, here's my Freyna build versus all bosses, and then they skip Swamp Walker. Like, I don't want to be that kind of person who also skips, I don't know, Molten Fortress, several other bosses, despite saying all hard mode bosses. I don't want to be like that liar that says, oh, 100 million damage, but that's because the fight with Deathstalker went on for like 7 minutes, and they practically did all the damage themselves. I could lie like that. Just get 3 friends, okay, go into a Deathstalker fight, you do all the damage, your friends do nothing. Oh, very easy. 100 million damage at the end. Great results. That's not how this game works. As you guys would know from my demonstrations of Deathstalker, you would actually be dealing about 50-60 million, okay, if the fight ends within 2-3 minutes. And that is if you are having a roughly even contribution. So without lying to you guys and without faking content and buying views like several other people out there, I'm not going to name names, but quite frankly, I'm really tired of these people lying to you about Freyna's bossing build. I have to say, Freyna's bossing build does work, but it has weaknesses and limitations. I will go through that right now, okay? So let's start from the top. Freyna's bossing build, now for this one I am using a purple reactor. Why? Because it's easier to obtain than a gold reactor. If you want to use a gold reactor, you can use roughly the same stats on it and you will do beautifully. But I would recommend that it has a secret garden mounting, okay? So I'm going to show you this with a purple reactor and demonstrate that everything that I do is possible with a purple reactor. Okay, let's get started. Beginning right from the top, okay, we've got a toxic mechanics reactor. This is your standard reactor for Freyna. It doesn't really matter what the optimization condition is. Just make sure you fulfill it. Here I need a shotgun, so I just threw the executor in there. Okay, for the rolls, a tech skill power boost or a toxic skill power boost, gold is ideal. I would really recommend a tech skill power boost if you want to, but either or is fine. And then the other one is a gold roll of additional skill attack versus Colossus. Here I do not have that, but still this is decent enough. It will work. Okay. For your external components, what you're going to need is max HP rolls. I would really recommend a HP support auxiliary power. You can go for a set effect like the Slayer set if you're really desperate to kill the first 4 bosses in the game. Like if you desperately need to own them, but the only one you're going to realistically struggle with is Dead Bride, and you should be able to kill her fairly easily. Devourer is not even worth mentioning because he dies to a light breeze. So Dead Bride is the most toxic resistant out of the first 4 bosses. Swamp Walker is a separate issue that I'll deal with, and I will demonstrate Swamp Walker in this because, again, I do not like lying to people or buying views. But basically, what you want to do is you want to be able to survive team fights as well. This build is not geared just for solo demonstrations. This build is geared for public demonstrations. If I get the chance, I will film a full set of boss fights in public for you guys as well, okay? So external components, HP roll with MP recovery out of combat. Try to get a gold roll of that if you can. It's quite important because for Freyna at least, you are very dependent on your MP. HP support sensor with max MP and MP recovery in combat. Try to gold roll your max MP and MP recovery in combat if you can. If you can't, it's also okay, but at least purple rolls. I use the Invader memory set, but you can also use the Annihilation set. Either or will work. If you don't have Invader memory, just use the Annihilation set, which is easy to get from Devourer, and you would practically be in roughly the same position. Even without the bonus, my max shield amount does not differ greatly. So you can pick and choose up to whatever, like based on whatever you personally need. Okay? So I'm just using the Invader set because it's got the 2-set max shield effect, but it's up to you what you want to use. Again, same with the Invader processor. You can just use the Annihilation one instead if you want to. Okay? But the Invader processor has higher max HP, so that's what we use, okay? So this is basically my external components and my reactor covered. Now, let's talk about the Secret Garden. For the Secret Garden, you would have already seen the build video. This is the Freyna special. Nothing has changed because I haven't really had time to work on anything. I'm just trying to prepare these videos in advance for you guys. So this is the Freyna special. It helps to basically ensure that her Venom Baptism gets roughly 84 shots instead of the standard 45. This effectively doubles the amount of damage that you can deal, so you are going to need the Secret Garden. And You will need the sharp precision shot in here to mag dump your full mag. The rest is extra, but I do recommend you check out my Secret Garden build video, the updated one, if you want to see how all this was put together and why we put it all together. Okay? All right. Now that you understand all that, let's get into the modules, then we'll start the demonstration. Okay, when it comes to the modules, I'm going to give you the full picture. I'm going to show you how to modify this, so you need to pay attention to this full section. Do not skip around because you're going to miss a lot of information. Okay? Let's get started. Mid-air maneuvering, standard for your sub-attack slot. Make sure it's fully upgraded and catalyzed, so you get 15 mod capacity to give yourself the 85 extra mod capacity. Oh, sorry, forgot to remove my cam. Venom Injection is going to be your Transcendent mod. Why Venom Injection? Venom Injection transforms your second skill into a unique skill that what it will do is it basically increases your skill power modifier by 66%. It gives you extra toxic resistance, all right, which is fantastic. And it also reduces the enemy's toxic resistance, which is fantastic. All right, the corrosion resistance is minus 25%, which again is really helpful. And it helps you recover 5% of your max shield per second. And it even gives you purification whenever you use skills. However, mostly you're interested in the shield recovery. Okay. So that is what Venom Injection is for. Please remember that it gives you skill power modifier, not skill power. Therefore, it's just helpful to up your DPS by a little bit, but not by that much. Okay. All right. That's your Transcendent mod, and that's your sub-attack slot covered. Now, next thing you're going to need to understand is survival. Overwhelming shield, increase HP. These are your standard survival modules. Okay? If you need more power in this build, you can actually take out HP amplification, and you could put in something like, if you really want to, you could put in, say, tech amplification or something similar. You could do all of that if you so choose. It's really your choice. But what I found is that for the most part, depending on my needs, I like to be prepared for public fights, so I went with HP amplification instead. All right, that worked out really well for me. Okay, now for your utility. These four are your survival. Okay, overwhelming shield, increase HP, HP amplification. For your utility, all you need is nimble fingers and MP conversion. Why? This drops your Venom Baptism cooldown to about 35 seconds when paired with Focus on Tech. All right, this allows you to use your Venom Baptism at least twice during team-based Colossi. Okay, and it's pretty excellent. So you really want to have that. Without these two, you may struggle a bit more in the team fights to put out the DPS that is actually necessary to help yourself, but you can make your own judgment. Some people prefer not to go with MP conversion. Some people will actually go with other modules, but it's like I said, your choice at the end of the day. Okay, now for your power increasers. In order to get the maximum amount of skill power, and if you've seen my video about skill power and how to maximize it, power increase, toxic amplification, you should already know that these two are excellent. Next, dangerous ambush. This is especially important for team fights, not so much in solo, but in team fights when the enemy has been immobilized. That's where you can deal more damage. And when the enemy is not targeting you, which is 75% of the time in a team fight, you have extra skill power, which is hard to say no to. All right, so it is absolutely excellent and more important in team fights than you might think. Last but not least, you've got Focus on Tech. As we know from the video on skill power modifier, this is not going to help your DPS by all that much. It's about an extra 1.5 million damage, but this will actually help you push over the limit for characters like Dead Bride, things like that, especially if you're lazy to really change your build around to a more glass cannon style for the lower bosses that you want to solo. You can actually make do with just this. All right. Now, I will say one thing. If you do not have a gold reactor like me, for Dead Bride specifically, you might need to change power increase over to maximize skill. Why is that the case? Okay, this is the first variation that I'm going to teach you. The little bit of extra power that you're going to get out of maximized skill will actually help you completely devastate Dead Bride, because she's often left on just a little bit of hit points if you have power increase. That being said, you have to finish her in one phase because of the massive cooldown penalty that is attached to maximize skill. So if you're struggling with the early bosses, use maximize skill. You'll absolutely rip and tear them. I will do separate demonstrations in this video. One Dead Bride with maximize skill, then I'll do Pyromaniac with power increase, show you that he's still killable. And then after that, I'll do Swamp Walker to show you the reality of this build. All right. Last but not least is the Deathstalker variation. For Deathstalker specifically, you are going to need to change a little bit about this build. I highly recommend the following changes. Okay. Take off your focus on tech and put on Toxic Antibody, because you do not have any base resistance built up into this build, and that will help with your increase to toxic resistance here. All right. The max toxin resistance increase of max 250% is quite excellent, and you are going to need it. Also, another important thing, Toxic Sense is inversely proportional to the amount of hit points lost, and has a chance to grant yourself purification when using skills. Fun fact about this, all right, you reach maximum stacks once your hit points, if I'm not wrong, once it drops below 15%. But the thing is, since you are at 1 hit point, all right, Toxic Sense is always at full stacks whenever you trigger this. So this is what I love about Toxic Sense, and this is what I absolutely enjoy, you know, about using this particular Transcendent module together with Overwhelming Shield. You get the full benefit straight away thanks to Overwhelming Shield. This is the Deathstalker variant, all right, with Toxic Antibody right here. This is what will help you survive against Deathstalker. As you've noticed, you can freely change about most things in this build, all right, but you need to know how to make these variations. So let's begin the demonstration. First, I will use the Dead Bride setup. So as I mentioned before, you want to swap power increase for maximize skill. The rest of the build stays the same. Okay, let's demonstrate it right now.
I am analyzing the void paradox.
This is designed for solos. So the first 4 bosses, this is designed to help you solo the first 4 bosses without difficulty. Okay, there's a particular style to it. I will demonstrate and show you that style with ease. Okay, but you have to follow along. All right, you got to do exactly what I'm doing. So pay attention, open thy eyeballs wide, and let's go. Okay, again, I don't want to be one of those that lies to you about what a build can and cannot do. Okay, so here we go. I am only going to use Venom Baptism and some of the base skills here. So we're aiming for that 1 phase kill with Dead Bride. Now, again, Dead Bride will be a little tougher than Pyromaniac. Why? Because she has got more toxic resistance, so be aware of that, all right? Now, after you trigger everything, make sure you hold down the trigger, aim for her chest. She will bend over. Once she bends over, all right, shoot, 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 and she will die. There you go. That is Dead Bride in 1 phase right there. This is with maximized skill. Now, keep in mind that if you fail to use your first 2 skills, you may not actually kill her. Now, with a gold reactor, you will do it even with power increase. But again, as I said, we don't have a gold reactor with ideal rolls right now. Okay? So now I'm going to swap over to power increase and demonstrate a solo against Pyromaniac. Then we're going to talk about Swamp Walker and how this functions. Now, when it comes to team fights, I will have to demonstrate that separately if I have the time. I absolutely promise you I will try my utmost to give you that if I can. I will try, but no promises because I'm really running out of time for this one, so I will do the best that I can. Okay.
I am analyzing the void paradox.
Going into Pyro. Oops, sorry, almost forgot to even modify the build. My bad. So back to power increase. Okay, against Pyro, this should work. Now, he may still phase, but if you find that he phases, just use maximize skill instead because you are guaranteed to kill him in 1. However, power increase should, even with a purple reactor, be capable of killing him in 1 phase. Let's go. Okay, here we are. Now, I like to take the same location, but I'm usually around here, okay? He walks forward a little bit, trigger your Venom Injection, get ready, cast 1, all right, cast 2. Now, aim for the shoulder and hold down the trigger. Do not take your hand off that trigger no matter what. Okay, even with power increase, Pyromaniac will die, just like that. All right, this is with power increase, that is sufficient. like I said, Pyromaniac does not have as much toxin resistance as Dead Bride does. So you will have a much easier time here murdering Pyromaniac just like that, okay? So last but not least, we're going to show you a Swamp Walker fight. I do not want to lie to you. I do not want to lie to you. So we're going to show you a Swamp Walker fight and how much Freyna is going to struggle. However, there are methodologies to use this, and these are the same methodologies you will apply in team fights. So I want you to pay attention. I will do my best to walk you through it. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Okay, for Swampy Boy, I actually don't recommend the initial casts. What you can actually do is something a little different. You actually want to knock him down as soon as you possibly can. So, how do you actually knock him down fast? Okay, I will show you and demonstrate to you how we do this, but you are not going to use the Secret Garden. What you are going to do, alright, is you're going to use the Enduring Legacy or any other weapon of similar kind, right? Just get up close and personal first. Okay, just get up close and personal first. This is going to take a little bit of finesse and accuracy. Like I said, you're going to have to be a little bit coordinated, but it is doable. All right? You're going to have to start with a scan. A proper receive scan. Okay. Now, watch the frenzy meter and try to the best of your abilities, break the cover on his eye. Okay, once the cover on the eye is broken, he's about almost 75% of the way. This is where you're going to do some specky stuff. You are going to mag dump right now. And in that time, if he gets knocked down, there you go. This is how you can dish out as much damage as possible. Alright, you can now start shooting him if you really want to. But he is going to get into phase. There's no way to one phase him, unfortunately, without a particular technique. And quite frankly, I'm not here to teach you that because I'd rather my build be more universal. But again, the choice is yours at the end of the day. Make sure you now disable your Venom Injection, okay, while collecting MP and the like. And you can have your Enduring Legacy to rip and tear his legs, as you probably should. Keep in mind that health drops are unnecessary for this build. You will recover your shields mostly through your Inversion Reinforcer. Okay? Your goal is plain and simple, destroy that. Now, this is where the fun begins. Venom Injection, hit him with the skills, and then go full on. Aim for his shoulders now. One shoulder down, second shoulder down. This gives you a little bit of leeway, but he's still gonna phase, alright? So, once he phases, turn off your Venom Injection once again. Okay, and finish him off. Make good use of the reload cancels as well as the uniquely long damage fall off of the Enduring Legacy. Kill off all these targets for the MP drops. Okay, then there you go. Swap back to Secret Garden. Grab all that you need. Turn on your Venom Injection. And a final Venom Baptism. Alright, as you can see, Swamp Walker's high toxic resistance make him a pain. So whether solo or team fight, you're likely to do roughly the same kind of stuff. Okay? So this is how you take on Swamp Walker. You aren't going to struggle and you're not going to risk death with this build because there's plenty of survival built in. So you're really not going to have that much difficulty. I really don't recommend maximize skill though, because you want to have your Venom Baptism ready every single time that you actually fight Swamp Walker. So this is how the bossing build works. Now I've only done the solo demonstrations in this video, but I will try if I can. I don't know if I can. If I have enough time, I'll try and follow up with a demonstration of all the boss fights from A to Z in teams. Okay? So we'll try that. I will even show you a Molten Fortress, even though it may include a failure. Okay, like I said, I don't want to be like those liars out there. But thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for choosing my content. It is... You know, I've been harping on it a lot, but I am very disappointed to see that so much content out there is literally based on lies and trying to deceive the audience, which I absolutely do not stand for. So thank you very much for choosing my content. I greatly appreciate it. I know I'm not around to stream right now, but I will be back on the 22nd. I am missing you guys, and I will look forward to that. All right, so thank you to those of you still keeping me in mind. I appreciate and miss you guys. See you on the next one.